to Shelly Studio. Today I'm working on my 100 days project, which is a 100 days of gel print landscapes. I'm on day 66, and I thought I would go back to my Sennelier paints. This is like a little sample set. It has primary blue, primary yellow, primary red, titanium white, and it's probably Mars black. I can't remember which black, but so I thought I would mix some of this up and do this one for today. This here, I'm just mixed some of the blue and the white. I meant to leave it streaky, but this one had a little extra in the white area. But they could be clouds. Maybe. Got some interesting streaks on there, but you'll only see, just a little bit on the skyline. And I have my cleanup paper there to pick up any excess paint, and it slowly, those cleanup papers slowly develop and end up being one of the prints eventually. So now I'm adding blue and the primary red, and I think I put some yellow in there too. I'm trying to remember. I think I was going for, maybe a dark blue. So this is for the mountain. I believe that's the layer I'm working on next is the mountain line, the mountain ridge, the mountains. And I probably was intending for purple, actually, now that I'm looking at that. It ends up looking kind of like really dark denim blue. I'm just adding that to my plate. Not 100% mixed. I'm using these yogurt lids, and they're not smooth on the bottom, and so they don't exactly mix 100%. And this time I did cut out some papers to make the mountains nice and crisp. And I'm not doing any particular mountain, just coming up with ideas out of my head. So just doing some layers. And pulling it up with my little cleanup one. That's getting interesting. That'll end up being a landscape here soon. Maybe even next. All right, so I'm going to mix up yet again. So blue, and this time I think I add yellow because I think I'm going for green. Thought maybe after the mountain you'd have a little hill, green hill coming towards you a little bit. So I mixed some of that up. Still got the black on there. I got to watch for that. And it does mix in with what I've already got on that little lid. Kind of mutes it. No, it's like, I added black. Decided it needed to be darker, I guess. Mixing the colors all on the same color palette and having a hint of what was last there kind of gives them a relationship, I think. Kind of makes the colors more cohesive. Maybe. So here's my hill. Got my print. Lining that up. And then just pulling a print. I really do like this Sennelier paint, but it is really thick. Like it's super thick. And again, just using my cleanup paper to pull that leftover paint. So here's what I've got so far. I'm thinking I need something in the foreground. So I thought I would put some brown. Just like maybe a road, or maybe it's just a dirt path. Or maybe it's another hill just really straight. So I'm trying to figure out how to mix up some brown. So I'm going to add all three colors, I think. Red, yellow, and blue. I think I add some blue. Yeah. to try and turn that into a brown color. And I'm not an expert at mixing and knowing the ratios you need to have to get the right color combination. I do like to add a little white. Sometimes it gets so dark I can't see what color it is till I lighten it up, and this is turning a really green and too much paint. So I pushed a little aside, and I'm going to add some more color to get it more on the brown side. I think it's red. Did I? No, white. I think it needs red, though, to be more brown because it's kind of green. It's been a little while since I actually filmed the making of this one, so I'm just going by remembering what I did. I don't know, it's kind of a gray color, isn't it? I think in the end it does look a little brown. I think I add a little black to it, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe a gray brownish color. Taupey. Is that a word? Is that a color? Taupe. So I'm creating a line, and then I decide I don't want the whole thing. So I go for a line. And then I think I decide that it needed to have a little below it. So you don't see me, but I pulled off the bottom layer and I just pressed it on there again and just pulled up the extra paint. So that was that one. And I decide this one is ready to go. I think it looks like a landscape. So I'm going to give it a sky. So I'm just using just some craft paint there. It's neon blue. It's really transparent, so I needed to add something to make it less transparent. So I'm mixing some white with it. Because we're going to put that on the top and hopefully make a sky. Oh, and I added some of that. That is like a light purple color and some white. Wow, I'm adding a lot to this one. Almost looks white there, but oh, I forgot I had that little mark on there. I don't know what I was doing. Well, I think at the time I wasn't worried about that mark that I did, and I put the paper down to create the skyline, and then just covered that mark up, and then pull the sky, and that makes this one, but that mark stays. So there's the sky, and I think I count that one as done. See how it looks like a house, doesn't it? Kind of. And I start a new cleanup paper. There. And so there's that one. What do you think? I think the cleanup ones are the most interesting. So I got it in my head to use some acrylic inks, but they don't brayer out very well. They do a lot of what you call crazing, where they just separate on the plate and create texture, which can be interesting, but it wasn't quite what I was going for. So then I decided I would use some of my acrylic inks and just kind of splatter. And I got a really big daub of brown there, so I was trying to spread it out. But so I used several different colors and just splatter the acrylic inks across the bottom of my gel plate. hoping it would maybe look like flowers in a field with my ghost house. And I just picked some red, some brown, some yellow, a light green, and a pink color. And I do have this waist bed up, in a purple color. It's hard to tell once I pull the print what the original colors look like. And my droppers aren't very good, so pull out paintbrush to do the dripping. In fact, those little dropper lids don't work at all for 90% of my acrylic inks, which is really annoying. Wonder if I can buy new lids for them and like replace that. So here I'm adding the bright green. I got all of these acrylic inks on clearance at Michael's or Hobby Lobby like several years ago. And keep trying to find uses for them. So they've got to come into my 100-day project in some fashion. And splattering always makes a really big mess. And a metallic, this one's a metallic green. Hopefully when it's all done, it will look like a field of flowers. That's the hope anyway. So how is everyone? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. We just, this is probably going to come out the Wednesday after Memorial Day, the U.S. Memorial Day. We went yesterday and took flowers around to our family, to the cemeteries. It's me and my cousins, so my mom and her sisters, we go and take flowers to all of them and to our grandparents and cousins and people that have passed away. And there's a huge group of us, so we end up, I think they said there were, was there 35 people graves we go visit? Yeah, it's quite a few. We all go in and together and get mums, so each get 9 and then take them around. So I let that acrylic ink dry, those little dots dry, before I started in on the grassy field. And now I'm doing the hill, and this time I'm wiping it back with a baby wipe. I am officially out of baby wipes. So I've been using, well, I have some dry ones. I've been wetting them with water and then trying to use them. They don't work as well as the original stuff. So I might have to reinvest in some more baby wipes. And just using a little bubble wrap, getting a little texture, got a little craziness going there. Some green bits lifted off from the bubble wrap onto the mountain, and it took a little too much, so I'm putting some of that light purple, I think it's called light violet or something. That's going to show through the mountain a little bit, but that's okay. And it's really dry here, and that just started lifting up, so I added more. Have to be careful, like if you brayer it too long and it starts drying on you, it'll lift right off. Also, if you go to add more paint, it can also just be a mess and lift off. So it's a risk whenever you do that. You can tell I put a lot of paint on there because my paper has rippled. But there it is. My spotty landscape with a ghost house. And that was day 68. And like I said, I had a lot of paint on there. You can see the edges I'm kind of peeling away at. They came down around the gel plate. And that can be a problem if you get a little too heavy-handed, which I do more often than I should for having been doing gel printing for a long time. So this one is quinacridone nickel lazuli gold. I wanted to do another one of these like a while ago. I can't remember how far back. I do have a playlist of my 100 days. If you're interested and you haven't seen some, I'd like to see them. I have been posting on Instagram. I am way behind on Instagram, but I will get posting them again. Get caught up. Yeah, it looks like day 45, I did like a monochromatic landscape. So this is kind of that, only I don't just use the one color. This time I use that for the background, and then I'm going to add, well, and I end up with a dot. Like there was an object on the gel plate. It left a little white dot. I guess that's going to be the sun because it's a hot day when it's that color, right? I'm just cleaning up any excess onto a new piece of paper. And then we're going to add, so I think I mix a little bit of the quinacridone, if I remember correctly, with some burnt umber. And I have this way sped up, so I could not read the label on there. And that paint was from Hippie Crafter. The quinacridone is from Golden, and it's an open. So it stays wet longer, doesn't dry as fast. I'm not sure why I added the white, unless I felt like it either needed to be lighter or more opaque. I can't recall now. It does make it a little bit lighter, but it doesn't look light once I've printed it. At least the actual print does not look light brown. It looks quite dark. And I'm going to use a mountain range I've used before. I'm just going to print that, and I just left it so that little white dot, well, it wouldn't have hit this mountain range anyway, but that little white dot is just going to be in the sky. Just be a really hot sun. So there's my mountain range so far. And then I'm just going to pull that up. So that's what we have. And I decide it needs, also always has to have more in the foreground. I always feel like it needs something in the foreground. So I'm going to put a layer. And I think I just do a little bit, like I add white. It gets kind of even a lighter brown. And I just do a little bit at the bottom. And it kind of looks kind of misty because I brayer it. You'll see. So it almost kind of looks like it could be fog. You know, low-lying fog. Because I just put that along the bottom. And then run the brayer over it. And it kind of just blurs out a little bit at the top. So there it is. I've got to put that other one down to pick up the excess. Normally I wouldn't show that, but because these become prints eventually, I like to show the progress of those cleanup prints. And this is golden fine gold, I think it's what it's called, or gold iridescent fine. And I'm just putting sort of a grassy effect down at the bottom. And the iridescent gold fine is actually really transparent. So I'm going to add a little bit of the quinacridone to the gold. And it'll get another layer of depth in those grasses, but it'll also help it be a little bit more opaque. I was trying to get creative, doing a little branchy sort of effect, but I'm not sure if that even mattered. But I do like the look of that quinacridone mixed with the fine gold. So is anybody doing the 100-day project, or did you? Like, when this comes out, is it over yet? This was day 69, and this was May 2nd. I think 100 days ends like June 2nd or 1st or something like that. Or maybe I've got my count wrong and it should have ended on the end of May 31st. But put a book down, weigh it down, and then pull the print. And there's the final with the little bit of gold at the bottom. And that is it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thank you, 22 Club, for sticking with me. I hope you all have an awesome day.